The bus station was nearly empty that night. Only the hum of flickering lights and the rustle of old newspapers kept Ruth company. She sat quietly on the wooden bench, clutching a worn leather handbag that had seen better days. Her coat was too big for her, the hem dragging across the floor. She looked tired, not just from travel, but from life. She had left home 40 years ago, left without saying goodbye, and no one had come looking, or so she thought. Ruth once had dreams, bright, colorful, loud ones. She wanted to be a teacher, to fill classrooms with laughter and chalk dust memories. But life had other plans. At 19, she found herself pregnant, abandoned, and forced to choose between survival and her future. Her parents, devout and proud, couldn't bear the shame. They sent her away. She raised her son alone, doing odd jobs, moving from town to town. But tragedy struck when he died at just 7, a fever she couldn't afford to treat. After that, Ruth stopped living and merely existed. She drifted through life like a forgotten letter, sealed, but never delivered. That cold evening, a young man named Eli entered the bus station. He was tall, in his late 20s, wearing a navy hoodie and carrying a box of donations for a nearby shelter. He noticed Ruth immediately, fragile, yet dignified, her eyes tracing the raindrops sliding down the station's glass windows. Something about her tugged at his chest. "Ma'am, you okay?" he asked gently. She forced a faint smile. "I've been better." Eli nodded, setting the box down beside her. "It's freezing tonight. You sure you don't want to come to the shelter? There's hot soup and a warm bed." Ruth shook her head. "I'm waiting for someone." He frowned. "At this hour?" She looked away. "I don't know if they're coming." Hours passed. Buses came and went. Ruth stayed, curious. Eli returned with 2 cups of tea and handed one to her. "Here. Helps with the cold." Ruth accepted it with trembling hands. He noticed the letter she clutched. The envelope was yellowed, the ink faded, edges soft from decades of holding. "Mind if I ask who you're waiting for?" he said softly. Her lips quivered. "My brother. Samuel. We lost touch years ago. I wrote him this letter, but I never mailed it. I don't even know if he's alive." Eli blinked, stunned. "You came here to find him?" "I came to remember," she whispered. "He was all I had left." Eli hesitated. "What's his last name?" "Samuel Hart," she replied. The cup almost slipped from his hand. "Hart." His heart pounded. "My grandma's maiden name was Hart." "Wait," he pulled out his phone, scrolling frantically through family pictures. "My grandma always talked about her brother Samuel. She said he lost a sister named Ruth who ran away in her youth." Ruth's breath caught in her throat. "Samuel had a daughter?" He nodded slowly. "2, actually. And a grandson, me." For a moment, time froze. The sound of buses, rain, the city, all vanished. "You're Samuel's grandson?" she whispered. Eli's eyes welled. "Then you're my great-aunt." Tears streamed down Ruth's wrinkled cheeks. She pressed her hands to her face, sobbing. "He remembered me. After all these years." Eli reached out, holding her trembling hand. "He never stopped. He kept a photo of you. Every family gathering, he'd tell us stories about his little sister who used to sing to the fireflies." Her tears fell harder. "I thought I was forgotten." Eli shook his head, voice breaking. "You weren't. You were missed." The next morning, Eli convinced Ruth to come home with him. She hesitated, fearing rejection, but his warmth and persistence melted her walls. When they reached the house, Ruth's legs trembled. She clutched the old letter as Eli's mother opened the door, a woman with Samuel's eyes. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the woman whispered, "Aunt Ruth." Ruth nodded, crying silently. The woman ran into her arms, sobbing. "He prayed every night that we'd find you." They sat around the living room as Eli brought out an old wooden box filled with letters, photographs, and keepsakes, proof that Samuel had never given up searching. In one photo, a young Samuel stood beside a small sunflower field, smiling, holding a sign that read, "Come home, Ruth." Her hands shook as she traced the photo's edges. He was always planting something beautiful. Eli smiled. "Now you're home to see the garden he planted." Ruth spent her final years surrounded by laughter and love she thought she'd lost forever. Every morning, she sat on the porch with a cup of tea, watching the grandkids run through the sunflower garden Samuel had planted decades ago. One evening, Eli joined her. "You know," he said, smiling, "Grandpa Samuel used to say the only thing stronger than memory is love." Ruth nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "Then love remembered me." Eli squeezed her hand. "It always will." As the sun dipped behind the trees, Ruth looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, Samuel, for remembering." And for the first time in 40 years, her heart finally rested. Even when the world forgets you, love never does. True connection leaves roots that grow silently through time, and one day, they bloom again. If this story touched your heart, please like, share and subscribe to Jomis Stories so we can keep bringing you more emotional, educative, and inspiring stories.